We're going to get going with a little bit of moving, not a lot of movement, but the theme will be shooting and moving. So we'll start with this, we'll get our feet moving, then we'll do vision barriers and other movement as well. So it should be a lovely day. First, I'll show you the engagement sequence we're going to shoot. Everybody's going to get 2 targets in front of them. All right, I'm going to shoot 2 rounds on each target, then 2 rounds on each target again. What did you think about the way I shot that? It was slow. Did it make you sad? All right, how would you tell me to do it better? Faster. So like articulate that in a way that I can put into action instead of just going faster.
After your second shot, you should transition to the...
I should transition immediately? Yeah. And then how am I confirming on the sight? Yeah, I should just, instead of like setting the dot, stopping the dot between each shot, I should just be reactive to the color. Okay. That's more what we want? Yeah. Now we're happy? Okay, so we're going to shoot this sequence, but you're going to be moving your feet a little bit. So watch what happens down here in the lower body. How much of that changed? Nothing. Right, so this is the goal. This is what we want. So again, engage each target with 2 rounds. We're going to step across the stick, engage each target with 2 rounds again. And as you're seeing, it should basically change nothing. That's what we want. Is that what's going to happen? No. Not really, but that's what we want. All right, I'll give you a few examples here. All right, what's going on there? Yeah. So at this distance, like the reactive to red in the center of the target, do you think it matters if I'm moving or if I'm off balance or if I'm uncomfortable? No, if I see the red, there's like that red slash in the middle of the target. If I pull the trigger, it's basically going to go in there. So the first thing here is we should untether what your finger's doing from what your feet are doing. Like if it looks good from a shooting perspective, this part doesn't really matter, right? It'll matter as much as you make it, if that makes sense. So you just, like again, like uncouple what your feet are doing from the trigger finger, all right? I'll give you a couple other good ones here. What do we think about this? So what I'm asking you to do is take 1 step forward and stop, or in a sense, shoot into position. So I should take 1 step, I'm stopped, stable, ready to move, feet spread apart, knees bent. Like I'm ready to go again if I have to. That's a very specific ask. What it's easy to do here is just keep walking forward, or just, start moving, and now you don't have to worry about stopping moving, and you just shoot while you walk forward. Again, that's not really what we're asking you to do. So you want to specifically just take a step forward, do that properly. I'll give you another one here. Now you can see the hits widened out quite a lot there, right? That lateral streaking across the target. Very, very commonly when people start moving or they're threatened by the shooting scenario, whatever that is, they, instead of being focused on the target, they flip their focus onto the red dot and then paint the red across the brown. So you could see a very dramatic shift there. Give you another one. All right. What's going on there? Yeah, so you saw like this posture change. And then you saw the hits on the target change. So as I change like elevation, posture, change tension in my shoulders, like the gun's not going to do the same things. So yesterday when we were big on, like, hey, just hold the gun with your hands, put in the correct input to return it, don't do nothing else in your body. Like you'll see that will pay dividends if you can execute that today, because you're moving around, you're twisting up, trying to shoot targets over here, that kind of stuff. Any of that excess tension in your body just crushes you. You can't do what I'm talking about where you say, look at it, it'll go there. That'll happen as long as I don't tense up my back, because then when I look at it, it won't go there. All right? Dave, what do you want to do?
Yeah,
We'll do some more demos, but
with the bar hop, some of the things to consider here is like we're moving athletically, and for a lot of shooters, especially my middle LE guys, like that's almost a foreign concept because it's not kind of how we've been taught, right? Like
what?
Yeah, the
You
tactical
guys going to
turtle,
the
whole roll
donut
forward.
shop?
But you're gonna get the biggest bang for your buck, and like is that athletic movement, right? Knees bent, feet spread kind of far apart. It's gonna be kind of weird, almost like standing like that. But we've all played sports at one point in time in our life, where you have that athletic stance. That same thing should translate to shooting. We shouldn't start doing things different that we've done athletically from like the sports arena just because we put a gun in our hand. And that's kind of how you get that bifurcation and this weird stuff that develops within the tactical
vocabulary
community.
warning.
Yeah, fancy word, right?
Let's have a 2-syllable max with this crew, Dave.
So, true, right? But you get that divergence, right? And then we start we're not developing guys to the extent they could be, especially with movement. It needs to be clean. So if you take this to whether it's on the practical side, you're doing USPSA 3-gun, or on the gun carrying side for law enforcement military, where like you're clearing rooms, things of that nature, running from one piece of cover to another, it's coming up in a good athletic position. Like this is a great introductory drill when you get into just introducing movement. Because all we're doing is separating upper body from lower body and asking you to step over a stick. And then that's just going to continue to layer itself once we start getting into some, more aggressive movements, running from one position to another, right? Continuing to shoot on the move. This is the building and foundation block. And this is proven to have like a ton of benefits, at least from what I've seen from teaching, for guys within the middle LE community. Like, hey, move athletically. Let's break you out of that that old way of and style of teaching of like the tactical turtle. You're going to be more efficient, more effective, and you're going to have a greater accountability with your rounds on target.
All right. We're going to do different directions as well. So you can see I've rotated the stick 90 degrees. Make a couple of demos for you. That's one way to do it there. Pretty obvious which one of those we like better. So what we like to see here is your trail foot. Just make that go first and step a little bit forward. Then again, it's easier to get nice and wide. All right, this is good to kind of piggyback off what Dave was saying. This exercise in and of itself doesn't mean a whole lot. You're just stepping over a stick and shooting targets. But this kind of Miyagi's you into doing a lot of other movements. Like this type of movement and shooting is something that we want to do really commonly. So if I was moving around a stage shooting, it might look like this. So you see that I have the tendency to keep my weight low, the gun's up, and I'm shooting or looking to shoot as I'm stabilizing. When I move, I can move with power. All right, so again, that's the style we're pushing towards, and this is just a good way to start. Your question?
When you have the stick 90 degrees, do you go over crossing your feet while you're shooting and having like an unstable kind of...
Yeah, I'm here for it. You can cross your feet.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, people want to talk about the foot crossing thing sometimes, and it's like, I think crossing your feet like this is okay. It's the most natural way to move. So if I'm standing here like, oh, I want to go over there now, would I just turn and then walk? Or would I just cross over my feet and walk over? Like, yeah, I would just cross my feet. So the crossing the foot thing, that's old guys now.
That is old guys. There used to be like, don't ever cross your feet in CQB. I don't even know where that came from. It's completely wrong in the first place. But we cross it like the more stuff we do in everyday life that you can translate to doing to here, the simpler and more consistent you're going to be moving. So like, yeah, if I'm going to go that way, I just cross my feet. Like I do that in everyday life. Why would I not apply that to the same shooting?
You're going to get killed out there, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to get killed if I cross my feet. But the principles here that Ben's putting forward is like, right, a good athletic stance, because that helps us generate power and explosiveness to move out of one position and into another. So if you look, he's always starting and stopping in the same stance. And that's incredibly important as you build into moving. The other thing is, if you notice, his level doesn't change. So what I mean, he's not like up, down, up, down, up, down. He's consistent in moving from one position to another. And like his leveling for his shoulders, it all just stays consistent. Because otherwise, it's just wasted inefficiency. You saw what the effect is on target. We start introducing factors we don't need to. So if we're consistent in our inputs as far as the movement portion, stopping and starting in the same stance, as well as maintaining the same level, you can generally do pretty good and you do pretty good when it comes to moving and shooting.
All right. Ready to give it a try, guys? Oh, let's do it. Oh!